Right now, on a wide, dry savanna, a whole family of elephants has gone completely still. Then, all at once, every one of them freezes. The old matriarch lifts her head, she spreads her front feet, leans her enormous weight forward, holds one foot just off the ground, then presses it back down. And she turns, and the whole herd turns with her until they all face the same direction, out toward something far past the horizon, something you and I, standing right there beside them, would never hear and never feel. But she feels it. She is listening to the ground. I'm Ren, and the animal I want to sit with today is one you think you already know: the elephant. Because an elephant does not only live in the world you and I share, it lives inside a second one, laid over the top of ours, built from signals too low and slow for a human body to catch. It can hear a voice from miles away and feel that same voice at the same moment coming up through the soles of its feet. So let me take you inside. There's an old idea in biology I lean on in every one of these, from a man named Jakob von Uexkull. He called it the Umwelt, an animal's self-world. Not the world as it truly is, but the thin slice of it that one particular body is built to sense. Yours is made of the light your eyes can catch, sound, smell, touch, taste, and it feels complete. It isn't. It is only the part of the world you happen to have organs for, and the elephant has organs for a part that you do not. Start with sound. Your ears are good, but they have a floor. Take a sound low enough, below about 20 vibrations a second, and it drops off the bottom of your hearing entirely. You might feel it as pressure in your chest, but you cannot hear it. That low, almost silent region has a name: infrasound. And it is exactly where the elephant does most of his talking. The deep rumbles a herd passes back and forth sink right below your hearing into a channel you are simply deaf to. And here's why that matters. Low sounds travel. A high squeak dies out over a few yards, but a deep rumble rolls on and on. Across open country, an elephant's call can carry for miles through the air. And when a sound that powerful leaves the animal, part of it never stays in the air at all. It sinks into the earth and travels through the ground itself as a slow wave rolling under everyone's feet. In 1984, a biologist named Katie Payne stood in an elephant house and noticed a faint throbbing in the air, a pulsing she could feel more than hear, like a great organ pipe sounding its lowest note. She came back with recording gear and confirmed it. The elephants were pouring out a steady stream of calls pitched below human hearing. A whole conversation had been running in front of us the whole time, and we never knew because we could not hear it. The second half, the ground, took a different scientist. Caitlin O'Connell Rodwell, in the field in Namibia, kept seeing those same freezing, leaning, foot-pressing postures in wild elephants, and had a startling thought. What if they were not only hearing each other through the air, but feeling each other through the earth? Her work, going back to a study in the year 2000, showed that an elephant's rumbles and footfalls send real seismic waves rippling through the ground, and that elephants respond to them. They were listening with their feet. Think of the ground the elephant stands on as one enormous telephone line, and her whole body as the receiver plugged into it. When a far-off herd rumbles or thunder rolls in, a low wave travels through the soil, reaches our silent matriarch, and comes up through her feet. In the soft pads of those feet and the tip of her trunk sit thousands of tiny vibration detectors, like the ones in your own skin, but tuned to catch the faintest tremor in the earth. That is one path in, and there may be a second. The vibration can travel up the solid bone of her legs, into her skull and her inner ear, so that she quite literally hears the ground through her own skeleton. That is why she leans forward and presses down, pushing her body harder against the line to hear it better. And she may do something more remarkable still. Her feet are planted wide apart, so a wave reaches 1 foot a tiny instant before the others. You find the direction of a sound the same way from the split-second gap between your two ears. An elephant may read direction from the gaps between her feet, turning her whole standing body into an antenna, aimed at whoever is calling from miles away. Now, let me mark the edges of what we know, that the elephant feels seismic vibration and answers it is solid and tested. But which path carries it in, the receptors in the feet, or the bone up to the ear, or both, is still being worked out. And whether she truly pinpoints a direction from her feet is our best working guess, not a settled fact. The machine is real. Some of the finest wiring is still a beautiful open question. So let me try to hand you the impossible thing. Hold still and imagine a second kind of hearing has just switched on, not in your ears, but in your bones, in the soles of your feet. Suddenly, the ground is no longer silent. You feel the low roll of a thunderstorm 2 valleys away, long before a single cloud shows over the hills. Someone you love is walking towards you through the house, and you know their step from 3 rooms off, felt through the floor. And a deep, familiar voice, calling from far past anything your eyes can reach, arrives in your chest and your feet at once. A word you feel before you hear it, from someone miles away who you cannot see, but who you now know is out there, calling you home. Now, what does that feel like? Is it a sound, a touch, or something with no name at all because you have never once had a word for it? You can't answer. And that is not a failure of your imagination. That is the whole point. Because here is where I have to stop and be truthful with you. I can name the receptors in the feet, the bone that carries the tremor to the ear, the wave rolling through the soil. I have mapped the machine piece by piece, and I have told you nothing about what it is actually like to be her feeling it. In 1974, a philosopher named Thomas Nagel wrote a famous essay with a haunting title, What Is It Like to Be a Bat? His point: you could learn every last fact about a creature's senses, every nerve, every signal, and still not know the one thing that matters most, what it feels like from the inside to be that animal. The facts sit on the outside. The experience stays locked within. It is the same wall right here. I can hand you the whole mechanism of an elephant listening to the earth, but not the sensation of that voice arriving through the soles of your feet. We can map the senses. We can never quite feel the feeling. And I have made a kind of peace with that, because the humility is the beautiful part. These are not lesser minds fumbling toward ours. They are other minds, genuinely and unreachably other. But before you go, let me turn the whole thing around and point it back at you. Because the real shock was never the elephant. It's this: that second world, low sound rolling through the air and slow waves rolling through the ground, is not somewhere far away on a savanna. It is here, under your feet, right now. The floor beneath you is carrying faint tremors this very second. Traffic, footsteps in the next room, the deep hum of a whole world turning over. An elephant standing where you are would be reading all of it. You are standing on a conversation you have no ears for. You are standing in your slice of the world, your Umwelt, a small bright bubble you mistake for everything there is. Your mind is every bit as strange as the elephant's. You're just so used to it that the strangeness has gone invisible. A few 100 million years of evolution handed you a handful of doors and quietly left most of the building dark. So here is what I would love to know down in the comments. If you could switch on one sense you don't have, hearing the ground, seeing heat in the dark, feeling a magnetic field, which door would you open first? And who would you suddenly feel out there that you have been missing your whole life? I read every one. If sitting quietly at the edge of another mind is your kind of strange, subscribe and stay close. There is a whole planet of them out there, and next time, we'll go find another one. I'm Ren. Mind the quiet ground.